welcome to Outlier on Air. Thank you for joining us today. We are at the Startup Ogden co-working space in Ogden, Utah, where we've got an amazing startup vibe. And today we are with Alex Doman. Thank you for joining us today.
Great to be here.
So let me just toot your horn just a little bit, Alex. You've been on every TV station I can think of, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC. And Alex is the founder and CEO of Advanced Brain Technologies and co-founder of Sleep Genius. And we're going to dig into the great technology that you've got out there on the market. Also, the author of the best-selling book, Healing at the Speed of Sound. And I'd like to talk about that a little bit too. So let's dig in a little bit first to the technology that you're putting out on the market for the public.
We have a number of technologies, both through Advanced Brain Technologies and Sleep Genius. So maybe we'll start with a conversation on Sleep Genius.
Okay, so Advanced Brain Technologies is the mother company.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So Advanced Brain Technologies I founded 16 years ago.
Okay.
And this is a company that develops evidence-based therapeutic music programs to help improve brain performance. And through that organization, we train healthcare professionals and educators in specific scientifically based music protocols to help people overcome brain injuries, to help children with autism, to help executives with their stress resilience, essentially to help anyone with a brain improve it and to advance in their life. During our work at Advanced Brain Technologies, we began investigating the importance of sleep as the foundation of all of our daily processes. We need sleep to be able to relax, we need sleep to be able to attend, we need sleep to be productive, we need sleep to build our immune function so that we can be healthy. So in that focus, we began working with a neuroscientist who had done some research at NASA. And in the NASA lab, they were working on helping astronauts get to sleep in space. And he came up with an idea, and that idea was when you rock a baby to sleep, what is actually happening in the brain that triggers that sleep action? And he developed an underlying audio technology, a set of neurosensory algorithms, essentially, that entrain the brain to go to sleep and to stay asleep. So we partnered with that neuroscientist, developed a sleep technology, and decided to make it available to the world in the form of a mobile app.
Interesting. So it sounds like your company, Advanced Brain Technologies, originally was not founded just on the premise of sleep. That came in later.
That came in later.
Okay.
You know, it is the premise that everybody has unlimited potential, and there's a term we use called sound brain fitness. Just like physical fitness makes us stronger and healthier and helps us live a longer life, sound brain fitness, being aware of noise reduction in our life, using healthy sound practices actually to support our brain, that work that we do there is really centered around that idea of achieving health through the right sound in our lives.
Okay, so research is a large part of your business practices?
It's a very important part. Everything we do is evidence-based, so there is a scientific underpinning to everything that we do. So when we create a new program, there's a scientific basis for that program. We will arrange and record and produce music based on that evidence, then do clinical trials to test those programs before they're put out into the public. So it's very important to us that everything that we do has a very strong research base.
Okay, so how is that research funded?
The research is funded primarily in-house by ourselves in the underlying research. In the research and development process, we self-fund that. Then when the programs go into market, the research is done by independent researchers. So people may be doing doctoral PhDs or master's theses, and often a lot of that research is done as part of that process. So we'll support that research to the point that we can without creating research bias.
Okay.
So you can't do a lot of research funding, otherwise it induces bias on the research. So we do everything we can to support the researchers in their independent investigations.
Okay, so the products that we're going to dig into in just a minute here, are those the principal example of the implementation of that research?
Yes,
into
they
the
are.
Community?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's really sleep-centric, and one thing that's really interesting to me is how much music plays a part in everything that you do. I've read through your website and your bios and about your book, and music is such a huge part of it. Why is that? How did that come into play?
We're wired for sound. Each of us is wired for sound. The very first sense to develop in the brain, 16 to 20 weeks in utero, is your sense of hearing. So we start our learning experience and our understanding of the world through the sounds that we hear. And music is the one influence that impacts more areas of the brain than anything else in our life. So we're really built for sound and music. We use music to celebrate, we use music to mourn, we use music to relax. Music is part of our everyday life, so it's a very natural therapeutic tool, and one of the oldest therapeutic tools known to man. I mean, really, one of the first forms of medicine was the drum.
Right.
Right. So drumming used for healing. So music has been part of our healing process throughout our entire existence. So what we're simply doing is applying the current science to a very ancient practice in a new form.
So Healing at the Speed of Sound is a book that you co-wrote about this particular subject, and it's a bestseller. What kind of effects are you seeing after having written that book and having it be a bestseller? Have you heard stories come back to you, or how's that affected?
As an entrepreneur, it's been very interesting. I don't have a scientific background. I left college after my first year. I really wanted to get out and do business, and it's been interesting. I surround myself with neuroscientists and professionals of all kinds, really the best of the best in the field, but I'm not one of those experts. I call together the experts. And the process of writing Healing at the Speed of Sound with my co-author, Don Campbell, was validating, if you will, for the work, to have the opportunity to spend 3 years deeply researching and writing on these topics, and having a best-selling book opens a lot of doors, because now you're recognized in and of yourself for your own contributions to the field. And so it's been very rewarding personally to share valuable information about sound in people's lives. The stories that I hear about people practicing what they've learned in the book are very exciting to me. So it's those unsolicited emails that come in that are really the most rewarding.
Great. So I'd like to know about Sleep Genius and how, we've talked a lot about sound and about this book, about healing with sound. How does that incorporate into Sleep Genius, which is, from what I understand, an app? And can you expound beyond that and tell me everything that encompasses?
Yeah. So I co-founded Sleep Genius with our CEO, Colin House. And Sleep Genius is a mobile health technology that helps track and to treat sleep issues. So it's both for iOS as well as Android. And what we've done within the app is we have embedded our neurosensory algorithms developed with our neuroscientific team into music that's specially composed to induce and to maintain sleep. So in the app, you select a 90-minute, an 80-minute, or an infinity symbol to play your chosen sleep program throughout the night. We track when you start the sleep. We track when you wake up. We have a special revive cycle alarm within the app that wakes you up stress-free, so no buzzing alarm clock, a nice musical composition that takes you out of any level of sleep that you're in, and then also a power nap program. So you take a 29-minute power nap in the day, which can increase your attention and your memory by a very significant percentage.
Sleep measurement seems to be kind of a trend in the app space. Tell me, number one, how legitimate is that? We see a lot of these apps, and also what added types of activities are needed that are provided here?
I think, the trend in mobile health right now is all about tracking, right? Mm-hmm. So we're tracking sleep, we're tracking our steps, we're tracking how much caffeine we're taking in the day. With new devices, we're now tracking blood pressure and heart rate variability. So we're getting a lot of information about ourselves. I think the challenge is the average person doesn't know what to do with that information. Mm-hmm. So the tracking kind of wears off. The interest in the tracking wears off over time, and people generally discontinue use of their tracking devices within about 90 days. And they don't keep using them because they're not getting value out of that. What we really want to educate people about is a model of track and treat. So track the information, then have a tool for treatment. And that's what Sleep Genius is, the first tool that really tracks a condition and then gives you something to treat that in order to improve your health. So for the future of mobile health, for people to really adopt these technologies, we think it's critical that they have that treatment part of it.
Hey there, Outlier entrepreneurs. I hope you're enjoying our guest today. I don't know about you, but I am obsessed with learning from others who are completely crushing it in their business. As entrepreneurs, we want to give you even more interactions to our guests. experts, investors, and other insanely ambitious entrepreneurs. We've just opened 50 spots for the Outlier Mastermind. This is a tight-knit community that offers you complete support through a closed Facebook group. You'll have an accountability partner and the opportunity to participate in business building activities together, which will accelerate your progress toward that next huge goal. We'll have exclusive hangouts and trainings with experts and successful entrepreneurs, as well as direct access to the Outlier team. If you're completely dedicated to your business and are ready to turbocharge your success, go to outliermagazine.co to learn more today.
Okay, can you give me an example of a subject, how they would use this app and what exact benefits they're going to receive? Kind of take me through the life cycle here.
Well, I'm going to tell you about my mother, which is interesting. I didn't know my mother had insomnia for 15 years. She had had a significant car accident, and after that her sleep was completely disrupted. I found out she was sleeping 3 or 4 hours a night. The impact on your health with that little sleep is tremendous. The research on incidence of breast cancer, on heart disease, on major health issues stemming to little sleep is very, very important. So to find out Mom wasn't sleeping well was pretty heartbreaking. She had no reason to tell me. When she started using our sleep technology, she was measuring her sleep efficiency with one of these tracking apps, and her sleep efficiency was about 40%, so very, very low. So she was sleeping very little, she was waking frequently. Within 2 weeks of using the app, she was sleeping 7 hours a night. She wasn't waking in the night, and she's been able to maintain that pattern. So we have broken a pattern of 15 years of insomnia simply by her putting on the music when she goes to sleep at night, letting it play through the night, and what it's done is it's reprogrammed her brain into a new rhythm for sleep, a new sleep cycle.
So we're measuring that particular subject's behaviors and then also implementing music to help heal those behaviors or change them somehow.
To change the pattern, right? Okay. So sleep disturbance is often tied to patterns in our lives, and they're set around something called our circadian rhythm, that 24-hour body clock. And that body clock sometimes needs to be reset. And the foundation of resetting that body clock is actually your sleep. So by using these sleep technologies, we begin to change the underlying rhythms that control the circadian rhythm. So once we get that sleep in order, other areas of our life really begin to improve.
And it's really being healed through music, is what you're saying. That's the principal tool.
It's music, and then different sonic elements, technologies that are actually embedded within that music that are helping to induce sleep. So we have 3 components. We have the neurosensory algorithm that literally rocks the brain to sleep. Your ear has a part called the vestibular system, and that vestibular system responds to motion. You actually have a motion-induced sleepiness called SOPI syndrome. It's actually like a form of nausea. Rather than getting sick, though, you actually get drowsy when you're moving. So that helps you go to sleep. And then we use what are called binaural beats, which is brainwave entrainment, using different sound frequencies going to each ear, which then entrain the brain to the characteristic rhythms, brain waves that we go through the sleep cycles with. Then we also use brown and pink noise to help block out the ambient sounds in the environment that might distract us and actually wake us up, and also help to slow our breathing rates to get us into a deep sleep. So you've got this beautiful music with all these technologies embedded at a very low volume that you're listening to.
Okay, so thank you. That really helps to kind of explain from what I'm understanding is that's the disruptive part of what you're offering, is that extra technology and implementation around over and above just the measurement.
Right, so it's a proprietary technology.
Okay.
So it's our own technology, it's our own music composition, so the disruption comes with something proprietary that can't be reproduced.
So let's talk about technology implemented here. You know, the really innovative products that I'm seeing today are where technology is being brought into industries that may not have used technology very well in the beginning, and really revolutionizing an experience. Is that what has happened here? And tell me a little bit about how you've implemented that.
Well, in our work at Advanced Brain Technologies, when we started, the delivery mechanism for music were Sony Walkmans and CDs. I mean,
Really?
that
Way
was,
back then.
That was the state of the art. Yeah, we've been around that long, and
Okay.
they've gone through this technological evolution. So the first disruption that we had in our business is rather than people going into a clinic to receive a treatment, we actually took the same level of technology at a much heightened level and delivered it in a CD format that you could do at home. The next disruption was using portable media players with higher quality sound files that were preloaded on those devices so people had the convenience of that portable media player. Back in 2003, we saw that there would be a disruptive change that would have to occur in our industry in order to improve the access to the technology in terms of cost and scalability within the market. So we look toward audio streaming as that answer. Now, back in 2003, when we started working on that, streaming wasn't really taking place. The concept was in its infancy, but we started our work process and started developing the underlying technologies that would allow us to do that. And we needed some things to occur. We needed to have mobile devices being ubiquitous. Everyone had to have a web-connected device in their hand. We needed bandwidth at a level that people could access a streaming file with ease. And then we needed an acceptance of using online subscription services. So when those three really came together, that was our moment to then take our work at Advanced Brain Technologies through a program called the Listening Program, which is our primary technology using therapeutic music, and actually deliver that in our own audio streaming format, which is what we're doing today.
So this is interesting because I think a lot of products are developed in a reactionary way to technology coming together and the time being right. Oh, let's hurry and develop something. Sounds to me like you had everything developed and you were just waiting for the right thing, the right set of events or access to the right technology to come along. So in a way, you were all ready to go.
We always are looking ahead, and I think in business today you need to do that. If you're reacting, you're too late. Business moves too quickly today. You know, what used to be a business model that you could sustain for 10 or 20 years, you can now sustain for 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, even within the Sleep Genius mobile health company, we've pivoted 4 different revenue generating models in the short 18 months of the business to really dial into the right way to generate revenues from that mobile app.
So that's a great point. I wanted to touch on that. I imagine when you started out, your revenue was coming from a very different place than it is now. What's your principal source of revenue? Can you give me an idea of what that is?
On Advanced Brain Technologies, you know, the company, we're a small business. We're 15 employees. Revenues run in several millions. We're a privately held company, and our primary revenues used to come from CD sales, right? So that was the primary source of income for the business. Today, it's training professionals through our online training app in order to use the technologies. So there's a large professional development aspect to the business. It is the streaming subscriptions that are coming through as well, and still actually the preloaded media devices.
So your revenue is principally from the end user right now, or
Yes.
okay? Now you've also integrated or partnered with Samsung and integrated in with some of their devices. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we're really excited to partner with Samsung. We actually developed the first sleep technology to make you induce sleep to be embedded on a smartwatch. And that was on Samsung's Gear 2, and that was actually announced at the Mobile Health Conference in Barcelona
Nice.
late last fall. So we've been very excited to have this partnership with Samsung. When you get the Gear 2, that Sleep Genius app is actually embedded directly on that device. And then we've also partnered with them on the Gear Fit in terms of having a mobile app that's compatible for that device as well.
Okay. Well, you've come so far. You've been covered by a lot of media channels, but I'd love for you to just dig out one instance where you really stumbled along the way. It's really helpful for us to learn from those experiences and try not to repeat them. So if you wouldn't mind sharing.
You know, it's interesting. My partners and I, you know, look at a roadmap, not just ahead of, but from behind. Where were our successes? Where were our failures? What could we learn from those failures? And I remember, and it goes back to that 2003 date, we had developed a brain training technology called Brain Builder that was delivered on CD-ROM. And again, for the model of scalability, we thought we can lower the price point, we can reach more users if we deliver this as an online streaming technology or as an online delivery. So we built a platform, we created a subscription model, and we thought if we built it, they would come. Well, we built it and a few came, a few hundred, not tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of subscribers, which our business model really needed. And what we learned was we built a tool that we thought the customer needed before we had any feedback that the customer needed that. So we learned to listen more, right? To really look at what our customer needs, where not so much that we can do this and we think this is the right move, but to really look for indicators in the business that tell us these are the right steps to take. We were too early to market, so there was no other online streaming technology for brain fitness at the time. Now it's a very big industry. The area of brain fitness with online tools is huge. We pioneered it, but now others stepped in front of us, and we're learning, watching them today, how we can do it better.
So you being very research centric, it sounds like that's actually a big strength of yours too, in staying with what you can do next, jumping on the next opportunity.
Right.
So that's a great takeaway. So any other advice that you have for our entrepreneurs who are implementing tech into an industry that maybe wasn't so tech before?
That's a great question. Definitely to listen lots to your customers.
That's hard. How do you do that? Or maybe it's easy, but
well, you have to engage them. You have to ask them meaningful questions and see what kind of calls your staff are fielding that are coming into the office. And it's ultimately about how do we solve problems faster and better. So we really look at any new development that we do as a way to solve a problem for a customer. Not to do something because we think it's a great idea, but are we really genuinely solving a problem that a customer needs help with? And when we use that as our main guiding principle, we're guided to do the right things. So many of the products that we release, the longest has actually been 7 years in development. That was an answer to customer demand. We really need this in our lives, and for us to take the time and to have the patience to develop that concept very slowly and then to release it when the timing's right. So a lot of it is listening, and a lot of it is looking ahead and being proactive rather than reactive to what's happening in the market.
Excellent. So what's next for you? What's upcoming?
Well, what's upcoming for us is some expansion in the mobile health space through the work that we're doing with Sleep Genius, building on this concept of track and treat and perhaps going beyond sleep with some of that, so more to come there. And on the advanced brain technology side, we're taking our streaming platform and mobile app to market now so that our customers will realize that vision that we started 11 years ago.
Fantastic. So how can we find the app, first of all?
Go to the App Store, Google Play, type in Sleep Genius, or go to sleepgenius.com.
Okay, excellent. And how about online?
For advanced brain technologies, just go to advancedbrain.com and you'll find all of our therapeutic music products there.
Fantastic. And then we will have all the links in the show notes for Twitter and all of your social channels as well. Alex Doman, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.